Okay, so today we will code our first EA, our first trading system for MetaTrader. And in the end of the video, we will also do a quick backtest. So this is our MetaTrader platform. And to open the meta editor, we just click on Tools and click on MetaQuotes Language Editor. And this is where we create all our expert advisors. You can also create scripts and indicators for MetaTrader. We want to create a new expert advisor. So we just click on the new button, top left corner. And here we take the first option, click on next. Now we can set a name. Let's call it first EA, for example. We click on next. Don't select any of these options. Just click on next. Here again, click on finish. So this is how our EA looks like right now. And what I like to do at the start is just to clean up a little bit. For example, these gray comments, we don't really need them. So we can just delete the first 5 lines and make some space here. And also these lines. The gray comments don't do anything to the code. They are just for the programmer. So you can describe what we are doing or what the function is for example. Comments are very important, but I just don't like the standard formatting from MetaQuotes. So we just clean up a little bit. Okay, and we also don't need this last line. Okay, so now we can start coding. But before we do this, let's just take a look at our MetaTrader again and think a second what we want the EA to do. So for this video, we just want the EA to open a buy trade at a specific time and close again at another hour of the day. So for that, we need 2 input variables, one for the open time and one for the close time. So we go back to the meta editor, and now we will declare 2 input variables. And to do this, we just copy here this comment because we are lazy, and we create a new section and call it variables. Because everything needs always to be nice and structured so we don't get lost in the code. So now let's declare 2 variables. And to declare a variable, you just write the type of the variable. And we want a integer type because we want to enter a number, for example, 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock. And then you write the name of the variable. For example, open hour. And we also do this for the second one, for the close time. We call it close hour. Now to change these variables from outside, we need to declare them as input variables. So we just write input in front of the type of the variable. And also for the second one. And you will see that the variable color will change in a few moments. And in the meantime, we can compile our code by clicking on compile. And if we have done everything right, we see in our toolbox that we have no errors. If we switch to MetaTrader, we now can see in our navigator under expert advisors our first EA. Okay, we go back to meta editor because another thing I want to show you, if you have done something wrong, let's say, and now we compile, you can see you get an error message. And if you got multiple errors, always focus on the first one and solve this one and then the next one. because maybe if you solve the first one, the other ones will go away too. Okay, so, and you can also double click on the arrow and you will jump right to the line with the mistake. Okay, so let me correct that again. Okay, now we have declared our two variables, our input variables, and we can also see them now from outside. If we switch to MetaTrader and drag the EA on any chart, then you will see the name of the EA, the version, and the link you have set. And then here, input, now we can see our two variables and we can change them from here and don't have to open the code all the time. If we try a new time for the open, for example. Okay, but for now, let's just click on cancel. So let's go to the Untick function. The Untick function gets called every time a price changes. For example, if we start the EA on this symbol, which is euro dollar, and every time you see a price movement, this function here gets called and the code inside this function is executed. So all we need to do is to check if we reached our open time in this function, and if we reach our open time, we then will open a position. And to do this, we first of all need to get the current time of the symbol and of the server. So the current time is always displayed here from all symbols in the market watch window. So let's just write a comment, get current time. Now to get the current time, need another variable, mql date time, and we just call it time now. To get the current time, we just use a function from MetaQuotes called time to structure. And here we just enter current time or time current, then our created variable time now. And if we have done that, we can compile real quick to see if we have any mistakes. Everything looks fine. By the way, if you want to know more about a function or a predefined variable from MetaQuotes, you can just select the function and press F1 on your keyboard. And this will bring up the MQL help. And here you can read about the function, get more details. And most of the time, there is also an example how to use this function. Now that we got our current time in our time now variable, we can now check if we reached our open time. First of all, we write a comment just to explain what we are doing. Check for trade open. Now we will write a simple if statement. A if statement just simply checks if the condition, which is here, if the condition is true or false. And if the condition is false, the code inside this if function is not executed. Only if the condition is true, then the code is executed. So it's a simple yes or no decision. We just write our variable open hour, which for example is 10. Then we just compare it with the current time. So time now dot hour. We write a comment. And now to open a position, we need another variable. So we go up to our variable section and just write C trade and the variable name, let's call it trade. And to use this type of variable, we need a include file. You don't need to understand this part right now, but just copy my steps. So we will create another section, write another comment and call it includes. Basically what we are doing is just to use already written code from MetaQuotes, and to use this code we need to include the file. So we write the file name, it's trade /trade, and now we can use the code inside this file in our expert advisor. Okay, now let's compile real quick and check if we have any errors. Everything looks fine. Okay, let's go back down to our Untick function. And now to open a position, we just need to write one line of code. So we basically just open a position for our current symbol. We open a buy position, one lot. And here we just enter the current ask price because a buy position is always executed at the ask price. And then here, this value is for a stop loss. We don't need one right now. And also here a take profit. Now compile the code and we can check if it already opens a position for us. In the MetaTrader tester, we switch to the MetaTrader platform, open the strategy tester. You can open the strategy tester by clicking on the symbol or also on view and strategy tester. Okay, so here we just select our expert advisor, first EA. Now we select a symbol, euro dollar. We take the 1 minute time frame. And for the period, we just need a few days for this backtest. And everything else we can leave as default. Here at optimization, we of course want to disable this because we want to run just a single visual test. So we click this option here. Okay, and before we hit start, we need to enter a value for our open time. We just enter 10 o'clock. And for the close time, for example, 12. Okay. Now we can press start. A visual test is starting. You can click on pause or play or increase and decrease the speed of the test. And now let's just wait until we reach 10 o'clock and then we should open a position. Here we go. Let me pause for a second. We see we opened a lot of positions at 10 o'clock, but of course we only want to open one position at 10 o'clock. So this is what we do next. We can close the visual tester. Okay, what happens now is that we, of course, enter this if statement at 10 o'clock, but at the next price movement, the Untick function gets called again, and it's, of course, still 10 o'clock. So we open another trade and another one. And the EA will do this basically until our account is gone. So we need, of course, to prevent this from happening. And for this, we declare another variable and it's of type Boolean. So we just type bool and call it is trade open. So this variable will just tell us if we have an open trade right now or not. And as a default value, we just set it to false. Oh, false. So, and now we can go back to our Untick function. We just add another condition to this if statement by making a AND link and checking if we have a open position. Now we don't want to enter if we have a open position. So if this variable is true, we don't want to enter. So we need to write a exclamation mark in front of the variable. This just is a negation. So if it's true, this statement here is false. And if the variable is false, this statement is true. It's just the opposite. Okay, and now we need to set the flag. So if we enter, this variable is false, then we will enter this if statement. And here we will now just say, is trade open true? Or let's move it beneath this position open part like that. So now we will enter if we have no position open. We will open a position and then we will say, okay, now we have a position open. Okay, let's compile and now switch back and we will just start another backtest. Now let's wait again until 10 o'clock. Okay, so now let's take a look if we open, one position at 10 o'clock. Perfect. We can see the open position here. just like we would trade in a real market. The strategy tester simulates with historical data. Okay, so now we can close the tester. So our open position code works fine. And now we can already do the code to close a position. And of course, as a coder, we are lazy and we just copy the code of the trade open part, paste it down here. And of course, we need to, oh, we have a mistake. Check for trade open. Check for trade close. Okay, and now we just change that to the close hour. We also check for the time now, hour, and is trade open. Now we want to enter this section if we have a trade open. So we remove the exclamation mark. So if this is true, we have a trade open, we enter and we'll close the position. Change that comment and we can delete this part and just type position close. And now, of course, we need here to set this to false. Now we have closed the position. We don't have a position open anymore. Okay, let's compile this. And now let's run a backtest again and see if we can speed this up a little bit. Okay, so here we see we have opened a position at 10 o'clock and we will close the position at 12 o'clock. So let me speed up a little bit. And of course, this is always a buy trade. So if the price goes up within this time, we make a profit. So here we see we have closed the position. Let me pause. We have closed the position at 12 o'clock. Perfect. And now the expert advisor will wait until the next day at 10 o'clock and will open the next trade. So we can fast forward this now. And we can close the tester, the visual tester. And in the strategy tester, we can now go to the backtest tab and see the results and also the equity graph. And it looks like we got lucky and it's a quite good looking equity curve. Okay, but we are not quite done yet. We need to check if the open hour and close hour is the same. So that should not be possible to enter, for example, 10 for the open hour and 10 for the close hour, because then it will just open and close many positions. So to prevent this from happening, we will check the input of the user in the onInit function. And the onInit function gets called every time the expert advisor is started. So here we can check the user input. And for that, we, of course, write a comment, check user input, and again, a simple if statement. And this time we write the condition if the open hour is the same as the close hour. So if this is 10 and the close hour is 10, then the expert advisor should not start. So we will give the user a message, open hour and close hour must differ. Okay, and now we, of course, not only want to display a message, but also prevent the EA from starting. So we just write return and init, let's say parameters incorrect. So let's compile. Everything looks fine. Now we go back to MetaTrader. Let's just test this. If we go to the input tab and we enter 10 for open hour and close hour, now we should get a error message. If we press start, we see the EA hasn't done any trades. And if we go to the log tab, we can see the message, but we don't get a window in the strategy tester, but we do get a window if we run the EA on a live chart. So if we just drag and drop the EA on a symbol and enter 10 and press OK. Then we get a message. Of course, if we enter different values, the EA will start. You can see this in the top right corner of the chart. And now the expert advisor is running, and it will enter a buy position at 10 o'clock and close it again 2 hours later. But very important, don't use this expert advisor on a real money account. This is a demo account. Okay, so this was our first very simple EA for MetaTrader in MQL 5. I hope this video helps you. If you have any questions about this expert advisor or coding or just automated trading in general, just write a comment or write me on my website. Okay, see you in the next video. Bye.